I've talked plenty about alternate tunings and how they can spark up some new ideas and different vibes, but sometimes people feel like alternate tunings are a little bit weird to figure out because all of your licks suddenly don't work anymore and you have to rearrange all of your brain and effort to learn all these new shapes or try to figure out your old shapes in this tuning. And while I do agree, I kind of feel like you're missing the point as well if you're feeling like that, because not having your natural shapes to rely on is why we tune to alternate tunings. We can get new options and figure out new sounds that maybe we wouldn't have figured out in any other way. But here's an alternate tuning that is an open tuning that kind of feels a little bit weird, but you can probably play it very quickly. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your guitar that is in standard tuning and you're going to tune it to drop D. Then you're going to take your first string, your E string, and you're going to tune it down to a D. And then you're going to take your second string, your B string, and you're going to tune it down to an A. And you might be thinking to yourself, that's just DAD-GAD. True, but we're not going to go DAD-GAD. We're going to change even another string. We're going to take the third string, which is usually tuned to a G, and we're going to tune it down to an F. And it's basically an open D minor tuning. So if you play bar chords, you'll get minor chords. And I figured out this tuning for my latest release song, Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere listen to your music at. And it was somewhat inspired by my song Plaza, which is basically the same tuning, but instead of tuning the B string down to an A, we just keep it at B, which makes it like a more Dorian open D minor 6 tuning. I wasn't trying to go for anything fancy, it was more of that feeling of like, hey, I only really down-tuned the guitar to that tuning when I want to play that song, so maybe I should figure out some more songs in that tuning. And I ended up doing this one riff. Which is a more slip and slidey open tuning, open string riff. And even though this looks like a super daunting alternate tuning and like you have to learn all these different shapes and figure out how it goes, you actually don't. So if you think of just the bottom 3 strings, it's just drop D. If you were used to playing in drop D, you can just keep playing your regular drop D riffs, and then the first 3 strings are just in standard tuning, just a half step down. So if you think about it, you just keep playing all of your shapes, including the bluesy pentatonic shapes, but they're going to be 2 frets up. So if you're going to want to play in G, for instance, your G is up here, your regular drop D chords, but down here on the first 3 strings, instead of it being here on the 3rd fret area, it's going to be on the 5th fret area, which makes it kind of weird for you to go then to the regular position of the pentatonic when you switch strings and move down 2 frets when you go to the bottom string. But I'm sure you can figure out a way for you to rearrange yourself around this tuning, or any other tunings really, but this one is kind of easy if you just think about it like that. It's just a standard tuning guitar. On the first 3 strings is just a tone down, and the bottom 3 ones are just drop D. Hopefully it will spawn some new ideas for you. And if it does, let me know. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. I want to once again take the time to thank you guys so much for the support in these videos and songs. I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! Has it ever happened to you that you're practicing 2 different songs at the same time, and maybe some parts of it can have similar vibes, but they're not really that similar, but just because you practice both songs at the same time, later on when you come to play them, you actually mix the riffs of both songs accidentally, because that's what happened with me with my latest release song, Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere to listen to your music at. I've mentioned before how many of these songs from the Brad Baker demos are anywhere from 5 to 8 years old, and while I was relearning the songs of Volume 3 so I could do these videos and do the playthroughs, because Hard to Breathe and the previous song of mine, A Wizard's Gamble, were both in non-standard tunings, I ended up practicing both at the same time, because if I was going to bring the guitar to an alternate tuning, I'd rather just do it in that one sitting and get done with it. And both songs have sections where they feature these dark and spookier chords, this minor chord vibe, but adding these like minor extensions like minor ninths or sharp 5s and even major 7s, these intervals within a semitone range. And in case you've been following these songs, A Wizard's Gamble was one of the first songs, while Hard to Breathe is more on the latter part of the set. So I did the videos for A Wizard's Gamble, and weeks later when I came to do the videos to Hard to Breathe, just to make sure I had everything ready to record the playthrough video, I put the song playing one last time, and as I was playing along with it, when it got to this darker section, instinctively I ended up playing this section from A Wizard's Gamble. Let me know if this is something that happens to you, because I don't think it ever happened to me. I can say this hasn't happened to me in like years and years of playing in cover bands, but if it did, I don't really remember it. That's how much of a relevant moment it was. And I wouldn't really say that what happened with both of these songs was anything weird, because like I mentioned before, they are somewhat of similar sections in vibe, and these whole video series about the songs from Breadbaker demos were kind of rushed in the first place, so it's not like I had as much time to dedicate to practice each and every single song as maybe one would thought I'd have. So I don't find it weird that it happened, it's just weird that it happened. So yeah, let me know if this sort of thing has ever happened to you. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week, and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest released song, Hard to Breathe, anywhere you listen to music at, and I want to once again thank you guys so very much for all the support in these songs and videos. I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot, and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! I'm pretty sure there's a certain generation of guitar players that grew up playing the guitar while YouTube was already a known and common thing, but guitar content wasn't yet what it is right now. I remember being a kid and learning how to play bass and guitar, and watching Rob Chapman videos and thinking they were just the coolest thing, and looking back, they kind of were. And I know for sure that I was immensely influenced by not only Rob and Rabia's playing, but also in their bands Dorje and Tosca. In fact, when it comes to playing in drop D and doing some of these shapes for major chords, where I do like this D major, or even these like add 9 major and minor shapes, I learned those from watching Dorje music videos and learning a bunch of their songs. And when I think of my latest released song, Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can ensure to go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, when I think of riffs like the main riff of the song, which sounds something like this, that does use all of these shapes for major chords and minor chords and add 9 chords, played in drop D, and they kind of have this like Phrygian dominant epic vibe of playing in a minor tonality but having the one chord being major, you know, that sort of a sound. I can't help but think of their influence and their inspiration, and even though I was definitely not thinking about it as I wrote the song, this song is almost 6 years old, and looking back at it now, I can definitely see this as like my own homage to Dorje and Tosca and those bands from back in the day, from the OG YouTube era, that really were a huge influence to me. And I'm sure I have fellow guitar players around my age who've also gone through these same influences. If you're one of those guitar players, let me know. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest released song, Hard to Breathe, anywhere you listen to your music at, and I want to once again take the time to thank you guys so much for all the support in these songs and videos. All the support really has been overwhelming, and I can only really thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! Have you ever changed the speed or tempo of a riff just as a joke and then end up figuring out that it actually sounds better like that than in whichever tempo you thought it would go in the first place? Because that's what happened to me with my latest release song, Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at. I was just playing around in this alternate tuning. You can go check out some other videos on this song where I've talked all about it if you want to learn some more. As just a coincidence, one of my students went like, how do I mess with alternate tunings? And I told him, well, funny enough, just recently I found out this riff and I downtuned my guitar and I played the riff for him at the speed that it was originally played at, which was kind of fast. It was probably around the speed of the song, aka this speed. My student was like, can you just break that down a little bit? And I was like, well, you don't really have to figure out how to play this riff. You can just do whatever you want. If it sounds cool, just do that. And they were like, yeah, sure, but I kind of just want to see how you play that because it was sounding pretty cool. So I started to play the riff at half the tempo. That's kind of a joke. Like, if you need me to play it slower for you to figure out, I'll just play it what I feel like is almost like ridiculously slow at half the speed. And while I was playing it at half the speed, I can't tell you that it sounded better, but it had a vibe that playing it fast just didn't have. In a way, your riff kind of has to be a little fast for it to make sense at half the speed, because otherwise you might have these long and slow notes that really take a while to connect and might not feel sense anymore. But again, it's subjective and it depends on the song and riff. But I don't think that before this song I had ever done this. So I made a little note on my phone being like, open D minor tuning riff, play it fast and then play it slow. Sure, I've done tempo changes before, but I can't really say this is necessarily a tempo change, even though it kind of is, because the riff becomes half the speed and all the other parts that were kind of the same as before also come down to half the speed. But the vibe of the song becomes different. In fact, here's how it sounds at half the tempo, but honestly, I kind of feel like it makes more sense for you to listen to it through the context of going through the whole song, because it kind of happens towards the end, so it gives a little bit of a different experience of listening to the whole song than getting closer to the end and reaching that section where everything kind of grows slower and honestly a little bit more intimate. Have you ever messed with playing riffs at half the tempo? Let me know while you're at it. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, so perhaps even consider sharing it with a friend of yours who might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious enough, go check out my latest release song, Hard to Breathe, anywhere you listen to your music at. And I want to once again thank all of you guys for all the support in these songs and videos. Your support has been amazing and I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! I've mentioned before how many of these songs that I've been releasing lately are anywhere between 5 to 8 years old, so forgive me from remembering a couple of the riffs but then not really remember a bunch of the solos or melody variations because I played them so long ago. And honestly, most of the solos are semi-improvised, so like I improvised a bunch of different takes and then like get together a couple of the takes that I then feel like are better, or even maybe I start playing a solo and improvising something and I feel like it sounds cool, and then at some point I mess it up, so I cut it up there and start recording from there on out. So it kind of comes in the moment. I don't really remember exactly what I play and I kind of have to relearn the songs, which is somewhat easy. But when it comes to my latest release song, Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, there's like 2 little solos on this song, one that is more like double stoppy and vibey during the first verse, and a second one that's more shreddy on the second verse. And both times I was listening to the song, I kind of felt like Gandalf in the Mines of Moria in the Fellowship of the Ring, whereas like, I have no recollection of this place. It was pretty much like that with those solos. I had no idea what I had just done in there. It's not even like they're complicated or anything, it's just that while I was listening to the song, I literally don't remember playing that. I don't, by consequence, remember playing anything else other than that solo, I just didn't remember the solos at all. And so I had to figure out the solos bit by bit, considering that the song is in an open tuning, it's like in this open D minor tuning. It made it so that my licks aren't quite standard anymore, and I'm not sure, but I think I might have recorded the whole song in this tuning, but then played the solos on a standard tuned guitar so that all my shapes stayed the same. And if I did that, it was probably one of those Simpsons worthy moments. It's just a problem for future Homer, he'll figure it out later. And so I had to figure out how to play those guitar solos no longer in the standard tuning, but in this alternate tuning. Which honestly wasn't too bad, because this alternate tuning of open D minor, it's kind of like drop D on the lower 3 strings, then standard tuning on the first 3 strings, and then everything that I would do to press down. Which didn't lead to a bunch of awkward shapes, but it definitely led to some moments where my brain was kind of lagging a little bit. Has this sort of thing happened to you too? Not only of you kind of forgetting what you played and then having to relearn it all again, but also having to figure out stuff that you did in one tuning and play it in another tuning? Let me know. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other ones too, and while you're at it, don't forget to share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. I want to once again take the time to thank you guys so much for all the support in these songs and videos. I can only thank you guys so much, but it really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but until then, cheers! I've recently released this song called Hard to Breathe, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at. And along with it, I've released a bunch of videos, not only with little playthrough clips, but sharing some tips and tricks, stories, lessons, and a full playthrough / music video on my YouTube channel that you can go check out. And while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you've been enjoying these videos, I'm sure you'll like the other ones too, and perhaps even share them with a friend who might also enjoy them. I want to once again thank you guys so much for all the support you've been leaving on these songs and videos. It really means a lot and it really makes a difference. I can only hope to see you in another video, but till then, cheers!